This is the new Crane Plus, the latest 3-axis one-handed stabilizer by ZHIYUN, and this is the true successor of the Crane V2. I am so glad they decided to go with a different naming convention because it's been getting a little difficult trying to explain the difference between the Crane V2 and the Crane 2, especially to those who are not familiar with the ZHIYUN products. The Crane 2 without the V is the much bigger gimbal fitted for heavier DSLR setups and currently ZHIYUN's flagship model. But this video ain't about this BBC. This video is about how I've been using the Crane Plus for the past couple of months. So what's different about this compared to the Crane V2? Well, physically it's exactly the same, and all the basic functions are still there. But aesthetically, it's a little bit different, and let me tell you, they upped the bling on this one. Rose gold screws. And I kinda like it. The subtleness of it really helps distinguish this from the previous models. Oh, and I love how they now include a sturdy set of tripod legs, which helps setting down the crane when we're not using it. This was something that they included with the Crane 2, so I'm really happy that they're doing so for the Crane Pluses. On the software side of things, there are a few but major features added to the Crane Plus, and a lot of which will require the ZY Play app on your smartphone. And really, with the Crane Plus, ZHIYUN's main focus is with the ZY Play app and using it in conjunction with the gimbal to perform and automate intricate and complicated movements for your next shots. For example, you can use the motion memory feature to program camera movements, save it, and have it repeat that same movement every time. You can also use the intelligent object tracking feature to track a moving subject. And you can use the night lapse feature and automate a moving time lapse with long exposure. So if you're curious on how all this stuff works, my good buddy Brett already has an extensive tutorial demonstrating all of these features, so go check him out. However, the most interesting addition to the Crane Plus is the 45-degree POV mode, which allows you to perform these Dutch angle shots and really helps add a whole nother level to these dynamic shots that you can create with it. And I'm a fan of it, I like it a lot, especially when you combine it with slow motion. I think it really gives a bit of a wow factor in your videos to keep people entertained. The camera that's been on my Crane Plus the most is my Sony a7R III, and this camera has been my daily driver since day one. And I often get asked what lens combination I use the most when flying the Crane. Well, lately it's been the new Sigma 16mm f1.4. Freaking love this lens. It's a crop lens, so I'm really getting an effective focal length of 24mm on this camera, which is decently wide enough. Another lens that I use with this setup is the Zeiss 55mm 1.8, and oh my god, stabilizing a mid-range lens at like f2, f2.2 on a gimbal is just beautiful. But by far, what I love most about this camera when flying on the Crane is the fact that I can now amp up the monitor brightness on the LCD when I'm shooting in 4K. Before, it wasn't possible when shooting in 4K when we were using the older Sony cameras. So whenever we shoot in broad daylight, it was just impossible to see what our footage looked like. But now, ooh, confidence every time. Quick footnote though, when you increase the monitor brightness on the LCD screen, your image may look a little oversaturated, but don't worry, it does not affect the actual footage. Just use it to frame your shot and use zebras to gauge your exposure and you should be okay. So I'm very proud of this. I have perfected my quick release ecosystem. I can now swap between the Crane Plus to my slider, to the monopod, to the tripod with ease. So the quick release system that I'm using is the Manfrotto 323RC2 system, this small rectangular plate right here. And this allows me to mount and dismount my camera on and from the crane without needing to rebalance the entire setup. If I need to quickly switch to another support system, let's say my slider here, I can dismount from the crane and mount it to the slider to quickly get a different shot. I don't use the dual handle grip. It does help with the stability, but one of the biggest reasons why I love the crane so much is the one-handed form factor. It just makes it so travel friendly. I can slot this setup into my think tank roller without it taking up too much space in width. This, and combined with my Sony Alpha mirrorless gear, I can fit everything I need in this one carry-on case. And in my Peak Design Everyday Sling 10L review, I got several people asking me if the crane would fit into the bag, and the answer is yes, but you would have to break it down. However, since then, I discovered a very janky way of using my sling to carry my crane during my run and gun gigs. The sling has a handle on the back right here, so what I would do is slip the crane handle in between and make sure the arm part of the gimbal goes over on the other side. So that way I have the setup built up already, and combine that with sleep mode, I can actually quickly pull out the crane, slap the camera on, and start shooting right away. Probably not the best method, but hey, it works for me, and it worked at that wedding that I shot the other weekend, so. And I'm not too worried about it damaging the motors. As long as it's not on when it's on the sling, I think it should be okay. I will be rocking the Crane Plus for the rest of 2018. This is my new favorite gimbal for my Sony Alpha mirrorless cameras. I definitely do want to utilize a lot of the new app features with the Crane Plus. I honestly haven't tapped into its fullest potential yet, but hey, I put together a playlist of a bunch of helpful videos on the Crane Plus made by my ZHIYUN fam, Josh, Sydney, and Brett. So click up here or somewhere in the description box below to check them out. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace.